Hey, MacArthur, can you hear me? There we go. Hello. How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. It's going good.
What was that funny sound you made?
It was just like yesterday, like I finished up chapter 5 and I was like, all right, chapter 6. Then I was like, oh, well, I gotta redo chapter 4. I was like, I'll just do that later. And I just did
Aw.
not want to touch it. I was just like, oh my gosh. I was like, come on.
Ah,
Yeah.
well,
It,
that's okay.
I was a little heartbroken, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh.
Heartbroken. Oh, man. Well, hopefully the week gets a little bit better.
Me and you both. Me and you both. Yeah, I was just like, oh man. And then like it made me like listen to the other chapters. And so I don't know if it's like me doing it or but like
Mm,
when I listen back to it, like I just hear like my voice. I'm like, okay, cool. But like when I listen to it on there, I guess like when I change something, it's like
yeah.
more like it like has everything in it. And I'm like, dang, you have everything from like the next room over to like me like tapping on something barely or like and like a hard like
Yeah.
breath and I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, how? I'm like, what am I doing transitioning? So I was just like, oh yeah. I was just like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Aw.
I was definitely like, if I ever like if I stick with this for like 10 years, 20 years, I'm like, I'm definitely gonna have to come back to this one book and be like, I can redo this and sound professional and have it down pat. Uh, this is like, I'm just like, oh, this does not sound the way it sounded to me, especially with chapter 4. Chapter 4, it just broke my heart because I was just like, why?
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
why does it sound like that? I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, it was just, uh, but yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh. Hey, that's all right. It's all part of that learning process and figuring out, how to do the editing. That's all part of that. And I'm sorry that it didn't turn out the way that you were hoping. And
Yeah.
we'll try to, figure out how to get that where we need it to be. Um, all right. So let's see. Um, it might be helpful to kind of go through some editing. So, do you have any recordings right now that we could work with?
Yeah, we can work with chapter 5.
Okay, great.
Uh, with, if I can find it. And then like even with like I think it's me though too because I think maybe like every time I record something, I guess I'm like setting it up differently because I
Mm,
noticed that with like chapter 5. And then I also
okay.
noticed like I have to definitely record in the afternoon instead of after work because like after work like in
Oh,
the
right.
morning, I don't know if it's like, oh, my voice just needs to rest or my throat needs to rest, but
Hmm.
I drastically hear a difference. Like my morning
Yeah.
voice trying to get it like in the same tone. I'm like, oh, like it's not like work. But then like I go to sleep and wake up. I'm like, where was this 6 hours ago? What
Hmm.
is this? And so like
Yeah.
I was like redoing a lot of stuff for chapter 5, but I also noticed like just like the stuff I didn't redo, like the I don't know what they're called, but it's just like you can visually see the difference if that makes sense, and
Hmm.
you could like hear the difference. And I was like, I might have to redo chapter 5 all in the afternoon. I was definitely like, I have to sleep and then record in the afternoon. And I was like, I can't record after work anymore.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. Yeah. So then, okay. So let's see. Let's go ahead and let if you have a recording that we can look at and work on some edits, can you send it through the chat? So if you go, you click chat and then there's the little paper with the tab on the side. You can click that and upload a file.
Because you want me to export the MP3 file, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Yes. Yeah, just like your raw vocal.
Where's the paper thing again? I'm sorry. Oh
Oh,
my
it's okay.
God.
Go to the chat, and then there is like a pencil with a T, a smiley face, and then there's like a paper with a little tab, and then there's like a square with a plus sign. The paper with the tab is where you'll put the file, or you can just drag and drop it if you have it like in your files or something.
All right. Okay, I think it's sending now. Yeah, I'm for my age, I'm like, I'm horrible with technology. I'm like, oh my gosh. My friend makes fun of me all the time because like we'll FaceTime. He's like, yeah, flip the camera. I'm like, where's that at? He's like, dude, you're 26. How do you not know where it's at? I'm like, I'm sorry. And it takes me like 5 to 10 minutes to finally flip it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm horrible with technology. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's almost there. Okay, it was filled. The bar was filled up, but then it like restarted for some reason.
Oh, well, that's okay.
So it's slowly filling back up again. But how have you been? How you been?
I'm good. Yeah.
Here, let's get here. I'm like almost there. Almost there. I'm just like waiting for November. I'm like, come on, November.
Aw.
Even though it's so far away. I'm still like, come on, November. Okay, wait, I think it just sent. I think it just sent.
Great. Perfect. Yep, it just came through, so I'm getting that saved. Alrighty. So then I'm gonna share my screen with you and we're gonna listen to it and see what we got there. So it should be okay, got it there. So I will put it in Audacity. Okay. So we're just gonna walk through together then.
Yeah.
Some things that I might try with it. Okay.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
just like,
Oh, I just realized I'm routing through those for the audio. Okay, I'm gonna change my audio setup. Okay.
okay.
So share because I'm like I have two headsets connected now. So one is talking to you and one is like my heavy duty guys, my like
It just might be a dumb
the
question.
the audacity wants to come through this one. So
Might be
these.
dumb. But why does like my recording look like that and then like but like on my screen it's like completely different?
Oh, it might just be how zoomed in and out you are.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that could be.
I was like, wait,
Yeah, you're like, it doesn't
what?
look like that. What?
Yeah, I
Okay.
was like,
I want to make sure you can hear my computer sound. All right. So I'm going to listen to a little bit of it, and this is just raw vocal, right?
yes, correct.
Yeah. So see, when I zoom in, now it's like this is 1 second, 2 second. So it looks different depending on how zoomed in or out you are.
Yeah, gotcha.
Oh, I need to, uh, there. Now I can hear it. Alrighty, cool.
Also, like recording. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I was just like, also like recording this book. I've learned how many words I don't use. I was just like,
Hey, that's
what is
okay.
it?
I learn new words almost every single day with
Or
with doing voiceover.
or it'd be like simple words, and I'm like, see, that sounds right to me, but then I
Yeah.
hear it in recording, and I'm like, no, that doesn't sound right. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how? I was like, how have I gone my whole life saying like this word, and now it just sounds weird to me? Yeah, I'm sorry, I just had
Right.
to bring that up.
That's
Yeah, I was like,
okay.
oh,
Yeah, I worked on a book recently that was very like it was about history and like ancient civilizations and things. I swear, I was looking up words like every other line. I was like, how do I say the name of this place that doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah, I was like, man,
So it sounds pretty good, just like as a raw audio. Like I definitely could see people being happy with what they were hearing. Okay, so one thing I would probably have a little more silence here at the beginning.
gotcha.
All right, we're gonna go through and do some basic edits. I'm gonna go to volume and compression, loudness normalization,
Wait,
normalize.
before we keep
Yeah,
going, is there any way you can record this so I can like come back and like see what you did?
sure. I
I'm
think
sorry, I'm not the fastest
no,
learner.
you're good. I think it just like auto records to the cloud. So I can see if
Oh,
I can like log into my Zoom and then send it to you or like share access or something. So I will look at
copy that.
that.
Copy
All
that.
right.
Copy that.
So we did loudness normalization. We're going to do normalize. You see, I have it set to negative 3.0. The reason for that is because of ACX standards. They're the most strict I have found of anyone with their production parameters. So I typically just leave it there because it works for pretty much everything, but then also they're the most strict about the audio quality.
Gotcha.
So I've got everything set for that. So I'm gonna do compressor. I'm gonna do a limiter. I like to amplify as well at this point, before I do noise reduction. So yeah, so all of that's just like room noise and or a little like breath. So I'm gonna get noise
Gotcha.
profile. I'm gonna apply now that I have the noise profile for the room noise and that breath. I'm gonna apply that to the entire track, and that should significantly help reduce.
Your other
Well,
question,
yeah,
I've noticed like when I record and then listen to it, and I'm like try to take it out, but I don't know how to, is when a P word comes up. I didn't notice I do this, but like I'm trying to like change it like when I record stuff, like when a P
yeah.
word comes up, it's like it spikes for some reason in the recording. And I'm like, whoa, I'm like,
Yeah.
do I say my P's
Pop in
differently?
consonants.
Yeah,
Normalize will
so
help with that.
okay, gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Cause
So
I was
hear
like,
this after applying the noise reduction. Listen, all that like buzz of the room noise and like your breath sound gone.
wait, it didn't play on my end.
Didn't play. What?
I could not hear it.
Weird. Okay, let's try that again.
Nope.
You can't hear that?
Uh,
Oh, it's supposed to play for you. But just take my word for it.
I will.
And if I feel like there's still a little bit there, I can always do it again. It's not going to take out your, oops, I don't have it selected. It's not going to take out your vocals at all. So if you're like, it could use a little bit more, you can just add it again, and then
Gotcha.
it's going to minimize it even more.
Copy
Yeah,
that. Copy that.
there was like the slightest hair of a breath sound, and it's gone now. So pretty cool. All right, click removal is something I also like to do for those like saliva sounds, mouth sounds, or
Yeah.
like, you know, little sounds we make. I'm gonna do, I usually do about a half a second intro. You can see we're kind of rated a half a second. Um, ACX usually likes like a half a second to 1 second of silence at the beginning. So I just did like exactly a half second there, you see. Now I'm gonna go through, see if there are like gaps or anything I need to tighten up a little bit. So it looks like you've pretty much like, I'm not seeing like lines where you started and stopped a lot or like, like huge, like that's fine of a space, especially if you're starting a new paragraph or something. So like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? I'm not seeing like huge
Yeah.
gaps. So did you already go through and kind of take those out?
Yeah, so like
Great.
you're definitely editing way faster than I was editing. So like with gaps or breaths, I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
Because I know like how to do the noise reduction thing, but I
Cool.
didn't know how to do it for the whole thing. And I was
Right.
like, what? So then like I would do that, but then like if it was still there, I would just like kind of exit it out, record, and then put the silent recording
Sure.
back in like that section.
Yeah.
But you're doing it way faster. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's why I was like, can you record this? Because
Yeah.
this is
So another thing I like to do at the end, they like to have 1 second to 2 seconds of silence. So we needed a little more silence there. And I like to do a fade in and a fade out at the beginning and end. Just creates a really nice polished effect. All right. So at this point, when I'm looking at it, I can just tell because I've done this so much, they are going to be like, hey, it's not consistently loud enough. You'll have like moments that get louder, but then you have moments that are softer. So I need to fix that. So I am going to use the compressor and the limiter a little bit more to help boost that. And then each time I do this, you're going to see it gets a little bit bigger, but it stays even, like pretty much consistent. If you have like really loud spots and really soft spots, ACX is going to flag that and not like it. See, like you see
gotcha.
here, this is still a lot bigger and this is a little bit smaller. So I probably need to do a little bit more of that. But oh, sorry. Again, I didn't select the audio. Um, so I'm just going to do it again. Now, as you do more and more voice work, you can sort of get better at intensifying or softening your emotion without the audio drastically changing in volume. Um, so this is probably pretty good. Like you can see it's pretty consistent now and like we've got a decent volume throughout. So we're going to export this and see what ACX says at this point. Before I do that, I'm going to listen a little bit. Yeah, it sounds great. It sounds really clean. Still sounds like you. One thing that I don't usually do, especially for auditions, because they want to hear my natural voice, is that I don't usually add EQ in auditions because I want them to hear me just as me. But let's say they say, hey, I really like what you're doing, but can you have your voice sound a little bit like deeper or smokier? Then maybe I use EQ to boost like those lows and make the high bright sounds of my voice minimized. But generally, this is a good kind of way to do it if you don't want your voice to change much. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to save my project as a project file first. So I'm going to go to students over here. Where are they? My student folder, and then I go find you. There you are. All right, I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to export the audio. And it should, because I already saved it, go to the same. Nope, it's not. All right, good thing I checked. Should go to the same folder, but it was not. So I'm going to save it there. And I check these are all where I want them. Mono, 44 100 hertz, constant bit rate, 192 kilobytes per second, entire project. I check all of that. And that it's like an MP3 file, not a WAV file. Those are all important. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing there because I'm going to go over to ACX now. All righty. I will. Okay. ACX audio lab playground. That's what I need. There we are. Okay, so when I get there, and if you just like Google the Audio Lab, it should find it. But here's the link to that if you just want to like save that in your computer somewhere and know where that is. And now I'm going to share this screen with you so you see what I'm doing. Safari. There we go. All right, so I'm going to browse audio files. This is not the one I need. That's a different project. So I'm going to go into your folder. And then I have chapter 5, right? What we were just looking at. And I don't need these like project files. And as you see, I need all of these three in order to use the project file. If I delete like these two, this one won't work. So I need to make sure I keep all of those. The MP3 is the one I'm analyzing. So this is where I'm making sure that it fits their parameters. So I'm uploading it there. so it can analyze the file for me. So once it gets uploaded, then we're gonna see what it says, and it's gonna tell us what it wants us to do. So I'm curious if you were walking through it, what are typical things that you do for the file?
So usually like I'll usually like go through it and one first thing I do is just make sure there's like no long spots at it.
Yeah,
And then I
right.
still have the messages from like way back when we first
Cool.
started. And so that's
Yeah.
kind of how I know about like the noise reduction. But
Yeah.
then like I don't
What are you
know if
analyzing for noise reduction? Are you analyzing the entire thing? Because that might be the issue. Oh, that is
that
so
okay,
weird.
so that's probably because I do it before I make it an MP3. And so then like they're still in like my sections, and so that I think that's probably where it's at. Is
Yeah,
me
okay.
like I'll click it, but then like I be thinking that I guess I'm clicking all like Control A,
Sure.
and then so like I'll do like the noise reduction, and then I remember like take an empty spot and then analyze that. And so that's what I
Yeah.
usually try to do, but like it never really works out the way I wanted it to work out.
Okay. Yeah. Um, so for so just a note for the sorry, I was making an adjustment. So what they're saying is the peaks are a little too hot. We're going into distorting land. So I just need to I just edited, undid my last um set of like compress, limit, amplify because it just was a little too much, a little too hot. Uh it's interesting though because yeah, so it doesn't want it when you use amplify, it takes it to where it's 0 decibels. So it takes it to where it's like this is the loudest it can be without distorting. And they're saying they don't want it to go there. They want it to be at or below -3 decibels. So a little bit softer than that. So I just went back and I undid the last set I did. So I'm gonna try it again. So my guess is what you were saying noise reduction, you don't want to analyze the entire file because then it's considering your voice as noise it needs to remove. You need to analyze only a silent spot. So only like a gap where it's just room noise, like a breath, maybe a mouth click, anything like that that's in there that's like these kind of sounds we don't want, right? So you highlight the silent moment, do step one, analyze the silent moment, then you go back, you select the entire track and then it's going to remove that room noise, but it's going to leave your voice alone. So that's my guess as to what happened there. So I just made the adjustment here. So I'm going to see what it says now, if this is good to go or if it's still a little bit hot. I tend to adjust in like small increments to see what it says because I don't want to do like drastic changes. Um, so yeah, I just made it a little bit softer. I just edited, undid. So that's why you want your project files saved, your Audacity project files, because then I can just like edit, undo what I already did. If it's like, oh, it's a little loud. So I just like edit, undo the last amplifying kind of thing. No issues found.
Gotcha.
So what I did is I took it back to where it was just like compressor limiter and then I didn't amplify it. And now it's perfect. Yeah. So they like it a little bit quieter. They don't want it to be as loud as possible without distortion. They want it to be slightly softer than that. So that was the issue I had just now. All right, so now I'm back to you. I'm gonna upload it into your chat there. All righty.
Yeah.
Files.
I definitely need to get better at editing.
Hey, that's okay. Honestly, at first, it's like painstaking and slow for literally everyone, myself included. And then you're going to get faster at it. And based on your setup, you're going to figure out what you need. So I'm going to send this one through to you, but then we're going to go through and you're going to do all the steps yourself and you're going to screen share over to me. So let me see how I tell it to let you do that. Eh? How do I give you permission? Advanced share options. Maybe that's it. All participants. Great. Alrighty. Cool. All right, so you should be able to share now. Also, that sent through. So I want you to take the file you already have. So the one that is the raw file that you already have. If you want to download this one, say like Vandy edited version or something, like so that you know which
Gotcha.
one it is and that it's different. Because I'm going to have you share and we're going to walk through step by step what you're going to do. All righty? Most of it, if you didn't notice, was me doing volume and compression changes. A little bit of noise removal and repair, but mostly volume and compression. Cool. Alrighty, so taking a look
It,
here. Nice. All right. So I'd probably zoom in a little bit. You're kind of zoomed out quite a lot, and just for purposes of editing. Now, at the beginning and at the end, you don't have enough silence. So can we maybe highlight that second of silence from 2 to 3 there? And you're just going to copy that. And then I'm going to have you paste it at the beginning. Say okay. All right, so we are going to do a little trick then. We're going to drag and drop it. So make the little hand and you're going to pull it to the right.
oh, this
Why
is
is it
like
not
my
doing that?
yeah, no, this is like my raw. So this is not my MP3 one. This is like still Audacity.
Yeah,
So like
that's
this is
weird.
still like in
Um,
my section
my guess
sections.
is maybe you don't have an update because it should move. But that's okay. Go to tracks. We're gonna make a new track and then we can do whatever we want with that track. So add new mono track. Stereo just creates like two of the same. We just need the one. So you're gonna paste the silence into the front of this one. Cool. Now copy and paste the entire track. So you're gonna go up and you're gonna select the whole thing and you're gonna copy that and then we'll paste it into that second track. Cool. So, sometimes it acts weird and we just go, okay, whatever. Now copy that silence again because we're gonna paste it into the end. Yep. So then click the little arrow with the line and it'll just hop right to the end, or you can scroll either way. Uh, where'd it go?
Okay, wait, no. Okay, I'm in the wrong file. That's on me. I'm still like in my older file where they're still in sections.
Oh, but if
Yeah, so
oh, okay, I see what happened.
I haven't
So
joined
edit
all of them
undo
yet.
what you just did, and I'm going to show you a trick for that. Cool. Now instead of, oh, leave the silence though.
Oh,
You're good.
how do I re? Oh wait, no,
Redo.
my bad.
You could go to
Yeah.
edit redo. Oh, or the little thing, yeah. So instead of clicking on the actual audio, click on the gray box to select the entire thing. Not there, on the left. You're gonna click that gray box where it says audio one, not mute. You're gonna click like empty space on that box. Cool. Now you see how the entire
Mm,
thing is selected? That makes you select the
yeah.
entire track. So now we're gonna copy
Gosh,
the entire track.
I feel so slow right
No, you're good. We all have to learn these things. You paste it. Now at the top, you see by the record button,
now. Yes.
click that little arrow pointing to the right with the line. It's on the left of the red button.
Oh, this one.
Yep, and it hops you directly to the end. So click there. Yeah, you see how it takes. Why is it still not
Yeah,
there?
why is it?
Oh, that's weird. Okay, go back to the beginning again. So you click the arrow with the line. That's very strange because when you click that box, it should select the whole track. Can you click instead of above? Can you click underneath? Like, yeah, like there. Just click there. Can you just scroll to the right and let's see if it's all highlighted? Because it should be the entire track. Yeah, the whole track should
Yeah.
be highlighted. So now, do copy. You can do the shortcut of like Command C, or you can go to Edit, Copy.
Oh, I totally did not do that. Yes.
Alrighty. Now go ahead and click on the track for that chunk we had below and just delete it. Just like click delete. Yeah. And now try pasting again and let's see if that worked. Okay, let's scroll to the right. No, it
I
still didn't work. That's so weird. Okay. So that didn't work. That's really odd, but okay. So now we just know it doesn't work in this version for whatever reason. So we're going to edit undo that. And that's okay. This is not at all your fault. All right. So what we're going to do is zoom out a whole bunch to where you can see like the entire track small. Yeah. Cool. So now it's really easy to copy the entire thing. So I'm going to have you just highlight the entire top track. So just slide it. Yeah, you see that? And now you're going to copy it. All right. And now try to paste it below. That is so
uh,
weird. I don't know why it's not working. That's really odd. Okay, strange. Let's see what version of Audacity you have. I have, let me see.
how
Which
do I check
version?
that exactly?
Because we might need to uninstall it and reinstall it
Yeah,
to get the
gotcha.
updated version. So let me see. Hmm. Alrighty. Do you have a Mac or a Windows computer?
Windows.
Okay. Okay. So you can actually go to Audacity in that top bar, click help,
There we go.
and then there
Okay.
should be a check for updates. Where is that?
It says no updates available.
Oh, okay. No updates available. Weird. I don't know why it's acting like that. So what we're gonna do is use your MP3 export of it. So I don't know why it's doing that to you. It in my experience should do something else. So it's being really odd. Um so close this out and don't make any changes to it when it says like do you want to like change anything? Just say no thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're gonna use just like the raw export of that audio file. So next, let's go ahead and open Audacity and you're gonna open the MP3 in it.
Oh, okay. I was totally doing it a different way. But
Oh,
yes.
it's okay. Um, so one thing you can do is if you have an open empty Audacity file, you can just like click and drag and drop the MP3 into it, or you can go in Audacity, go to open files and open the MP3.
Gotcha. See, this is like I feel like my computer hates me because like Audacity will show up here sometimes on the desktop and then it'll disappear. And it's like
Oh,
supposed to be
weird.
right. And I'm like, why?
A little
Why do you do
shortcut.
that?
Yeah, that's funny.
Because I'm
I don't know.
there's like
That
one
picture
time
you
it's
have
like
is so serene. I love it. All
appreciate
right.
it, appreciate it.
So we're going to go to open
Uh
and then we're going to find that MP3. Salem. Cool. Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead and zoom in. Nice. More, more. Zoom in until you can see like very clearly each second and like half second. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna try this again. So we're gonna copy that 1 second from 2 to 3 of silence. Cool. Now let's see if it will let us paste it in front. Sweet. Okay. Now we're gonna go to the end because we need some silence there. Cool. Let's paste it twice because we want 1 to 2 seconds of silence at the end of the file. Alrighty. So there we go. What? Maybe it's because it's highlighted. Can you click off? Yeah. There we go. All
So
right. So
I
perfect.
definitely see now that I should probably export it into an MP3 and edit it doing like that instead of doing it in the section. Yeah, okay.
Honestly, that was weird. I don't know why it's making you do that. I don't have an answer for that. But it's very strange. So we're gonna go
Audacity
back
doesn't like
over
me.
to the front. Yeah, but now you know it's a little quirk. And we want to have between a half second to 1 second of silence. So let's cut off just a little bit. Well, actually, you're good. You've got a perfect amount of silence there. So let's highlight all of the silence there at the beginning, including that little fuzzy breath. Yep. And now let's go up to your effects, and you're going to do noise reduction. Noise removal and repair, noise reduction, step one, which is get noise profile. Perfect. Great. All right. So now we've got that. We've already done that. So can we select the entire track? Cool. Let's go to your effects, and we're going to do volume and compression. All right. Let's do loudness normalization. Apply. That's good. Then we're going to go to effects again, and we're going to do regular normalize. Cool, cool, cool. No. Edit
Oh,
undo
I'm
that
so
because we
sorry.
need to adjust the settings. You've got your settings not where we need them for ACX. So back to effects. We're going to go to that one again. So this is something that'll help. It'll save the settings. So normalize. Instead of -1, put -3. 3.0. Yeah, perfect. Apply. So that's just a picky thing ACX has. All right, now back to your effects. Go to volume and compression, compressor. Looks good. Apply. Then we're going to add limiter after this one.
See, I remember doing this like when we first met and then
Yeah,
like having the messages, but then I had left those messages on the other website we used to meet on,
no
or
worries.
I don't know. Yeah.
So effect, volume and compression, limiter. Cool, cool, cool. Looks good. Apply. And then we are going to amplify. And actually, at this point is usually where I will do my, so go ahead and apply that. It's going to just auto detect how much it needs. So you just say, okay, apply that. All right. So this is usually where I do my audio analysis because I just amplified. Maybe the room noise sounds a little different. So let's highlight that moment at the beginning again. And we're going to do step one, which is noise reduction step one, analysis of the audio. Cool. Get noise profile. Now you will select, you'll click get noise profile, and then you go back. You're going to select the entire track. So can you do the trick I taught you where you double click on the box on the left? Yes. And now the whole thing should be highlighted. So then go to effect, and we are going to do noise removal again, but step two this time. Alrighty. And looks good. We say okay. Awesome. And you can even visually see like that breath is minimized so much.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to go to effect and do click removal. So again, this is just like saliva clicks and like teeth and tongue sounds and things. So click removal. We're going
Oh,
to
I did
apply
not know
that. So
about
say
this.
okay, apply. And then all right. So at this point, we've done everything we really need to. I like to do a little fade in at the beginning. So in the silence, you're going to highlight the silence and fade that in.
Like that click removal, there's been so many times. You want me to click the whole silence
Yep,
beginning?
the whole silence, and then you're gonna fade in. I know it's like it's hard to talk while you're doing it. Fade and then fade in. All right, let's go to the end of the track.
But there's some
Yep.
times where I just kind of went. Do you want me to join these? Join this like all in one?
I think it might be a
Or
tiny, you can. It might be a tiny bit too long. I'm not sure, but let's just in case we can highlight a little bit of that silence. Yeah, you can do that. Just a little bit of the silence and take it off, just because I think it might be possibly a tad too long. So it just has to be between 1 to 2 seconds. All right, perfect. So that's like 1.5. So we're gonna highlight the silence there and do a fade out. And this just gives it a really nice polish. So we go to effect, fading, fade out. Perfect. All right, so now when I look at it, it seems a little bit soft to me. So we're gonna select the entire track again. Great, and go to effect. And remember how I said too, like just looking through, you can kind of see there are like louder and softer areas. So we're gonna add the
yeah,
compressor and limiter again.
compressor first,
Yep.
correct?
And then we'll see like a little bit of audio changes happening. And then we're going to go to limiter and apply that. Alrighty. Can we scroll a little bit just so I can kind of visually see the audio? Yeah, it's looking a little more like consistent, even. Nice. Awesome. And then there's still some spots that are a little bit soft, like
Yeah, right.
you see that? Yeah, so let's go
Yeah,
ahead and do compressor and limiter again. Sometimes I just go in and manually amplify those really soft parts, but you can also do it this way, effect limiter.
yeah, that's what I was doing, like the click noises. Like I'm like, okay, wait, I got that. And then like if I
Yeah.
couldn't deviate shit from like my recording, I just like get the whole like the section of the recording and then try to do it without like taking the
Yeah.
click there. But I did not
Mhm.
know there was a whole click. Oh
Oh,
man, that
perfect.
was
That's great. That's handy. Yeah, so it still looks a little bit to me like, some of the spots are still pretty soft. So I might do one more time. But if I feel like it's not really like doing what I want it to, then I'll just go in and manually adjust a few of them. Okay. And then limiter. Cool. I mean, it looks better. So let's scroll a little bit more. I just want to see. I mean, generally it looks pretty good. Yeah. So let's see what it says. If it'll tell us if it's like we need to go fix those spots that are like so much softer than the louder spots. Um,
yeah, gotcha.
but it really isn't that bad now. So yeah, so let's go ahead and export that and then we're gonna test it in that ACX audio playground, the audio lab. So you're gonna export as MP3 and maybe label this as like the edited version. A lot of the time, depending on where I am, like if I have limited time in a studio, for instance, I will just do like all the recording and I'll do all the editing later, like at home, because I could do that. I mean, I do have a recording set up at home, but sometimes I'll go in. Um, so then it's like I just sort of work on the edits and I kind of figure out based on the room and the equipment and everything I had, what it's gonna need.
Yeah, yeah,
Alrighty. So
like
then if you go into the chat in the Zoom, we have that link to the audio playground in there, acx.com/audiolab/playground is what it is. So if you wanted to just remember that. acx.com/audiolab/playground.
I'll definitely bookmarking it.
Perfect.
But
Great.
yeah, so like I've definitely noticed like what because I did like loud normalization, but
Hmm.
I never did step one. I would just hit apply.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting, because
so some of it
it normally doesn't let you apply noise reduction without analyzing first. But
got
my
yeah.
guess would be you're probably just selecting the entire track. And if you apply it that way, like it starts to sound like tinny and robotic, kind of like
Mm,
computerized, because it's trying to minimize your voice too. It thinks your voice
got
is noise that it wants to take out. So that's why it's so important to only analyze the room noise, not your actual talking, speaking voice. Yeah.
gotcha.
But I usually try to get a breath in there too, because then it goes like, oh, that's noise we want to remove, you know? Or if you do it and you feel like my breaths are still really obvious, then go like as a secondary time, highlight just a breath, and then apply to the entire track again for step two. And then it'll usually drastically minimize the breath sounds. So
Gotcha.
I do sometimes highlight like a silence first, and then I'll apply. And then if I still notice the breaths are loud, I'll find a spot with a louder breath and I'll highlight just the breath, do step one again, analyze, and then apply to the entire track, and it'll minimize those breaths. So it works pretty well. All right, cool. So
Will do. Will do.
it's analyzing, spinning, thinking through it.
Oh, let's
Woo!
go.
You
I
did
was
it.
like, this is
Heck
probably
yeah.
my best sounding one.
That
Probably
is
on there.
fantastic. This is all part of the learning process. So it's all
Yeah,
good.
because
I
I did.
literally in the past have gotten so frustrated that I've just like hired friends to do the editing.
uh,
I'm like,
'cause-
I got lots of projects right now. I'm just gonna work on the vocals and you do the edits. Like, I legit like I tend to like bite off more than I can chew too. So then it's like
Mm.
I get overloaded and I'm like, I don't have time to do the edits. Can you do that part for me? And then I just like focus on the vocals. Um, but yeah, like now I don't mind doing the edits at all. Like I can pretty much like be in a coffee shop, be in my living room, like go through and just like have some good headphones and my computer and I'm good to go. And I can do it pretty quick too. So,
Gotcha.
and like I said before,
Yeah.
ACX is the most strict of anyone I've ever encountered in the audiophile parameters. So, once you kind of like lock it down, your system, you're like, okay, good to
It's
go.
yeah.
Nice, perfect.
This
So yeah, you've got it. So I'm gonna figure out how I can send you the file. I might yeah, I'll send it to you. I might like
gotcha.
WeTransfer it or something. So download it. Or I could maybe like put it on like YouTube and then you could just have the link and go back to it. I did that for Phil. It's like a tiny bit more work, but it's not a big deal. Because he was like, I lost the files you sent me. Like the download doesn't work anymore. And I was like, yeah, you had to download it within 7 days, Phil. So I had to go back and see if I can find it again. Fortunately, it was still in my trash. Woo! He was like, I need it. I was like, should have saved it, dude.
Yeah, because I was definitely trying to go off like memory, and I see that's a
Yeah.
bad idea now.
No, it's
And
okay. It really sounds like it was mostly just the noise reduction, just applying that incorrectly. But you see how we highlighted a spot that had an obvious breath and had room noise, room tone, and then it analyzes that room tone, and then it minimized that room tone and breath noise all the way through the entire track, which is cool.
yeah,
And if you listen and you feel like you want a little bit more, you can always like apply it a second time, or like you feel like your saliva clicks are still loud, you can always apply that again. So like I had a person who was like really, really wanting like no breaths, no mouth clicks. And so I like highlighted just the breath after I did the room tone and removed that. And I applied noise reduction, I think 3 times. And then click removal, I did 3 times, and then they were happy. But it was like they were like, I still hear a little bit of like breaths and like mouth sounds, and they did not want any of that. So I was like,
Mm,
okay. I kind of like a little bit, just a tiny bit, because I feel like if you go through and you cut out every single breath completely, it sounds weird. Like it's too perfect, too clean to
gotcha.
me. It stops sounding human to me.
I
Like it
feel you.
starts to sound kind of fake. Um, so I like minimizing the breaths better myself, but that particular client wanted something different. So I was like, all right, the publisher is right. They get what they want.
Right.
And I just,
Yeah.
super minimize them to where like it was barely
Gotcha.
audible, you know? And then they were happy with that. So I think it was
And then,
more the clicks like that.
yeah,
They didn't want any
understand.
of that. So I even purposefully kind of like I try to have really good diction usually, but I purposely got a little like muted, I would say, not sloppy with my diction, but like my T's weren't as crisp,
Mm,
and like my P's weren't as popping, which is okay,
mm.
So it kind of depends on what you're doing. And it's not like popping to the point that my mic is going to be getting like feedback or anything.
Right.
But just where it's clear, but they were like, it's still too much. So I had to tweak a little bit more than usual for them, but that's fine. So you give the client what they want. It's all good. Um, I'm not as picky, and I see this more as like a learning opportunity for you. And we all have our starter books, and starter projects generally. What's great about like starter character projects, though, is usually you have someone else doing the editing. Whereas with audiobooks, sometimes you're the producer as well. And so that's where it gets a little bit tricky. But the thing is, having these skills means you can upsell yourself later. So if you have a website and you like direct people to that, you can, charge a little bit extra for other things. Or you set up on Fiverr and you say, hey, I can proofread your scripts and like fix the grammar and stuff. I can um, I can do all the editing and give you a fully produced audio. I can give you a high quality wave file instead of the MP3, and you charge them extra for each of these things. I can give
Mm,
you exclusivity for a year, which means I won't do any other car company commercials, but that costs a lot. Exclusivity does. Oh, it's not just your local market. You're putting it online nationally. Cool. That's more money. Oh, you're going to use this internationally online. Great. That's more money. Oh, you're going to put this on TV. Cool. That's more money. So you have like, if it's like a mom and pop shop that they're putting it on a local radio station, I'm not going to charge them that much for like a 10-second commercial, right?
right.
But let's say they're like, oh, I'm going to use this here and I'm going to use it for this and I'm going to use it for that. Also, in perpetuity means they get rights to use it forever. So that is different than like, oh, you're going to use it for a year. So all of these things are things you can charge more for. So having
Mm,
all of these skills is going to make you able to negotiate better contracts for yourself. Yeah.
gotcha. Copy that. Copy that.
Yeah.
Copy.
I think this was very productive. I know that the editing is
Yes.
is a little bit
Yes.
tedious early on. However, later on, you're going to be like piece of cake, fly through it. Um, one of my students, it was interesting. Her file had Margot, hers had like it was really, really interesting because it had that tinny kind of sound to it, but it actually was not noise reduction. She was doing that correctly. It was her room she was recording in. So she was using a walk-in closet, but it was completely empty. She had like hardwood floors and like, empty walls, and the sound was just bouncing. And so
Mm.
it just was like, no, she had this like ring to the sound. And I was like, sometimes that can happen when you over edit it. So we were trying to figure out what it was. I was like, okay, what's your equipment set up? What's your room like? And so I was like, hang some stuff in the closet. It'll sound way better. So she just like hung some clothes and things in there, Like she put coats and stuff, or I was like, just drape some blankets over like the poles, like just anything to dampen the sound. Put a rug down. Take some old towels and like tack them up to the walls, like anything to dampen that sound and stop that reflecting. And she just like filled the closet with clothes and put a rug down, and she was like, "Oh, it's so much better." And it like went away. So it really is, we have to figure out your setup. What's your room? What's your equipment? How are you editing? And we have to troubleshoot because it's not a one size fits all kind of a thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
like I feel like the way Audacity is too, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like so like for me, like the MP3 thing, I'm definitely gonna like start exporting it in MP3 and then
Okay.
just edit that way instead of
Yeah.
on the actual like Wave. Because like it would sound right to me on Wave, and then okay, I'll be like, I wouldn't even check the MP3. I would just export it MP3 and then put it on ACX. And then
Yeah.
now seeing that, I'm like, okay, so clearly there's a difference between the WAV file and the MP3 file that I was not catching. Because like it would
Yeah.
sound good to me on the WAV file. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just export it, put it on there, and I'll listen to it on ACX, and I'm like, that does not sound like what I'm listening to right now. But now doing this, I'm like,
Yeah.
clearly there is something different right there. So I'm like,
It's
yeah.
it's really smart that you, even after uploading it, are listening back to it, because sometimes you'll be surprised. You'll be like, "Wait a minute, like why does it sound like that?" So yeah. So I think that's a great practice to, and even before I upload, because every now and then I'll do something dumb and save to the wrong folder or whatever, and I'll upload it and people are like, "This chapter is not from my book." And I'm like, "Ah, crap. I saved things wrong again." And I have to go find the file because it's in the wrong spot. And I'm like, "Oh, it's in my auditions folder. Whoops." You know? And so I'll even like listen to the start of it before I even upload it. And then
Mm,
I'll listen to it once it's uploaded too. Because I have had a weird thing happen before too, where maybe like the file didn't completely upload or something, and they're like, it's truncated, like it's which means that it's like cut short. So it's like the end is cut off. So it's like maybe it didn't fully upload or something. So I always like to listen through once it's uploaded so that I don't have any weird issues. So that's a really good practice. I like it
yeah.
to
Even
implement
though I
that.
didn't
Yeah.
know how to fix it, I was just like,
Well,
I'll
you just
just
replace the file. Yeah.
what
You just go back and
yeah, because I'm
re-upload
definitely gonna
it.
go through chapter one, two, and three, and
Okay.
definitely re-edit those, and then
Yeah.
re-record chapter four, of course, and then
Yeah. So
edit
if
that
you
one.
want to try this week to edit 1 through 3, I feel like, so my neighbor's kitchen, when they're cooking, sometimes it's like, I feel like it's like a little smoky. Anyway, I live in a duplex, and it's weird because it's only like the bathroom and then this room that I'm in that I can even ever smell it.
Mm.
And I'm like, I think they're cooking and it's a little smoky. But yeah. So if you were like, why is she making those weird faces and coughing randomly? That's what's up. Maybe that's oversharing. Okay, so I want you to try to do all of this again on chapters 1 through 3. You're going to re-record 4, and then go ahead and try uploading them and see, like, check in the audio playground and everything, that it works. And then let me know when you've uploaded them, because then I'll go take a look on ACX. Okay. I
Copy that,
sometimes
will
want to
do.
say Audacity when I mean ACX, or ACX when I mean Audacity. And I'm like, I feel like if they didn't both start with A, I wouldn't get them mixed up.
Mixed up, yeah.
Like Backstage and Audacity. I never get those mixed up.
Right. I feel you. I feel you. I
So,
feel you.
yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good goal for this week. Try to record 4 again and do edits on 1 through 4. I think that would be a really good goal. Yeah.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
Cool, cool,
Oh, and
cool.
now you got me like looking at my closet like I gotta hang up some blankets because like this
Oh,
side has
yeah.
clothes and then this side is empty and then like
Uh,
I've also noticed like because I was just like testing out like different distance for my mics and stuff like
yeah,
that for recording because
right.
I was like all right I gotta find something
It
that's
does change the
comfortable
sound. Yeah.
because I'll be here and I'm like okay sounds good but then I'm like all right let me go here and you hear an echo and I'm like no I
Hmm.
was like I can't
The
because that was
general
with chapter
rule
five
is
too and
four
I was like oh
fingers. So the
okay
general rule is you want to check with your mic and put 4 fingers and go, okay, that's about how far away I want to be. from the mic when I'm there, right? So I check it with my four fingers. I go, all right, that's the distance I want. And if you feel yourself like start eating the mic, that's not great because what can happen is the processing of the audio, if the air hits that foil inside too strong, it can distort or like not be able to process that. If I'm too far away, you get the same kind of effect that you were just talking about, where it sounds too like open.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Another thing to consider too is your input gain levels. Um, if it's too soft when you record and you boost it, you're going to have more of a fuzzy sound in your voice. But if it's like a really solid input gain level, then you're going to get more clarity in the sound.
Yeah,
So,
because like I have mine at like 11 and I was like, okay, let me like put it on 12 or 1. And I was like, whoa, that sounds wrong.
ah,
Cause like I would like see it change like when I would yell and I was like, oh, so
mhm.
I just started playing with my knobs and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, wait. So when I yell, so like I think it's like when I yell, it's better at like 7,
yeah,
8.
okay.
So when I yell, then like my
Right.
normal voice is like 12 1, and then like when I
Hmm.
whisper or use like a deeper voice, it's like 10 11. And I was like, oh, okay. I
Yeah.
was like, so I'm gonna keep it at like 10 11 and I was like,
Mm.
yeah. I don't even, I think I just got bored one day. I was like, I don't know what any of these knobs do. Well, I'm
Oh,
gonna see
that's
what they
awesome.
do.
You know, experimenting is a really great way to learn. I love that. Just like playing with the effects, playing with the knobs on your audio interface. That's brilliant. Especially if you're more of a hands-on kinesthetic learner, it's going to stick with you better. Um, so something, my puppy is having an exciting dream over there because he's making little sounds and moving his feet. So what I was gonna say. Um, for like if your character is whispering or something and you actually are getting softer, check your audio interface settings for your input gain levels because like you said, they're going to be different. If you have a yelling moment, instead of backing up from the mic, you're going to stay the same distance, but you're going to change your input levels, your input gain
Mm,
levels. So you're going to go to the gain knob and you're going to lower the gain, which means you're lowering the amplification. Yeah,
copy
because a
that.
mic, the
Copy
whole
that.
point of it being invented was amplification. But here, the point is sending the information to your computer. So for like your regular talking voice, you figure out like how loud do I be here? When I'm narrating different things, like maybe one is a very soothing meditation kind of sound, and I'm a little softer, a little warmer, right? Maybe I have one setting for that, and then I have a character who's really got a lot of attitude and she's kind of fierce, you know? And so for her, I'm probably going to change the settings because I'm a little bit louder. And then I have a character who is really shy and maybe she's kind of young and she doesn't want to be a bother, but she has a question. And then that's a little bit softer, so I have to change my volume. And then I have someone who is furious. So I'm going to change my input gain level for that, right? So I'm going to
Gotcha.
change that amplification based on how loud I am in that moment. Yeah.
Copy that. Copy
So
that.
I love that you're already experimenting with that and finding that because you're not going to be able to just like keep it the same unless you stay the same volume. It is possible to be like a stage whisper where I'm still the same volume, but I sound more like I'm whispering because I have that airy kind of quality in it. And then I go back to my normal voice. And then I am so angry with this person and you can hear the tension, but I didn't really change my volume, right? So that's something that you can also work on is setting your input gain level and then you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to see if I can change my intensity of my voice for these different attitudes and scenarios without changing my volume so much. Yeah. So that's something to practice as well, because it will make your editing process easier and your
Copy
recording
that.
process because you don't have to be changing the input gain level. But if you're in a studio, they're going to be like, do whatever you want, and we will change the input gain level. So they
Copy
just
that.
figure it
Copy
out.
that.
Yeah. And like if you have a live mixer for like a theatrical performance or a music performance, the live mixer is also going, oh, you get louder there or higher, or you're like softer here. And they're actually live changing those input levels. So like old-timey people would be like, it's a high loud note, woo, back here with their mic, right? Today they actually tell you not to do that. They're like, we do that for you.
Mm,
So instead of doing that, because then you're not being picked up by the mic if you're way out here, and then the people with hearing aids and things cannot hear you, or people way in the back. So they don't have you do that. They say, stay there and we will adjust it. So that's why you have live mixers.
that's dope. Did not know that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
So you already tapped into that, which is awesome. I didn't have to tell you. Perfect. But you did see in the file where it's like louder and softer and louder and softer. We
Yeah.
have to fix that. Sometimes we have to go in and just like take a super soft moment and like amplify it and then read, make it the same level manually. But yeah, you're already discovering that. So you can practice not changing your volume so much, but you also can change your input gain levels. Cool?
Gotcha. Gotcha. Cool, 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 cool.
Yeah. And
Will
it will
do.
become second nature the more you do it. Yeah.
All right. I will take that. I will take that.
Cool. Alrighty. So I'll see you Monday. I know I've
Yes.
been like the worst,
Hopefully.
like a couple times. Oh
No,
yeah, I
it
had a
was my
couple
week.
times.
Yeah,
And
this
then
week
you
was
had
on
it,
me.
yeah, because
Yeah.
of like the
I
internet and
don't
technical issues. I had to cancel
yeah.
on Shamara last week because my internet went out and I couldn't figure it out and I had to have my husband like help and reach out to the internet company and stuff and we didn't get it working again for like I don't know, like 3 hours or something. So
It, the
it took
crazy
it
thing
took a
is
while.
like before class, like an hour working fine. And then I'm like, all right, let me go
Oh,
on. And it's like 10 minutes before, and I'm like, well, why is nothing loading up? Boom,
yes.
goes off for like 3 hours. All
It
right, comes back,
happens. I
goes off
actually
for I'm
do
like,
really like
what?
virtual for voiceover lessons, particularly because of the screen share quality like thing. Like I really like
Oh,
it for that purpose.
stuff.
Um I mean in person works too, but I actually feel like virtual works really well for voiceover. Um because I want you to be doing things yourself on your computer. Um and like troubleshooting your home setup and those kind of things because like otherwise people have to like bring their whole setup and we have to practice with their stuff I mean because I can have them use mine but I'm like then your stuff might be different so
Right.
yeah so it's I feel like it's really helpful to be online but then every once in a while you have those tech issues and it's like oh. One time it was like a little over a year ago because my computer's pretty new it's like a year old now um I I had just gotten a new computer. It was crazy. And because I was like, oh, my computer's like 7 years old now. Like it's super slow. It's getting bogged down. I was like, I don't think I can keep using the same one for much longer. So I got a new one and I was like, oh, it's so much faster. Yay. Then literally a month after I got it, I was on a call with a student and the screen like started like quivering. And then there were like rainbow lines across the screen. I was like,
Oh.
weird. And then all of a sudden it just went black. And I had to cancel lessons for like a few days because I had to take it down. I was like, it's brand new. And they were like,
Oh.
we see that. And they were like, you just have a faulty screen. So I had to get it fixed. And so I know like things happen for me too, where it's just annoying. And I was like, well, I have a few days of like not recording. And I was like, I just have a few days to do whatever I want while I wait for my computer to come back to me. So yeah, tis tis part of our modern world life, technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think you are in a much better place now. So yeah, I think you're good to go. You did it.
I appreciate
Heck
that.
yeah.
Appreciate that.
Two
When
thumbs up.
yo, yeah, because I definitely needed that. I definitely needed that. So
Yeah.
most definite. Most
Yeah,
definite.
I
I
just
will
you don't
download
want to
the
keep
video.
beating
I
your
will
head
not
against the
forget.
wall being like, why isn't
Yeah.
this working? Yeah.
Yeah. I will definitely be downloading the video. So
Cool. Perfect.
just so I can
Alrighty.
have it
Yes,
forever.
I will send it to you. Thank you for the reminder. I'll try to do that right now. Alrighty. Yes, me and my ADHD brain. My husband literally is like, I don't understand. I literally just asked you to do this. And I'm like, I'd be like, oh, you're going to the kitchen. Bring me some mustard. And I'm like, cool. And I come back and he's like, where's my mustard? And I'm like, I forgot. And he's like, how? And I'm like, I don't know. I was thinking about something else.
I hate it when that like happens to me while I'm driving, and like I get
Yes.
scared because I'm like, oh my God, where am I? I've been driving for like 20 minutes. Did I like miss my
Yeah.
turns? What's happening? Yeah,
Yep. Thank
I'm right
goodness
there
for
with
GPS, right?
you. I'm right there with you.
I
Yeah.
legitimately also like I don't know how to get anywhere, but I legit like lose my phone every single day. If I did not have an app to track it down, like it'll be in the laundry basket, the dish drying rack, between the couch cushions, like random weird places. I leave it in the car in the like GPS holder thing. Like I lose it every single day. It'll be like in a jacket pocket from when I walked the dogs, like every day.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Most
So,
definite.
alrighty, I'm gonna send it now.
All right. I
All
will
right, great
download
work
it.
today, MacArthur.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate
Keep
it.
it up. I'll
Appreciate
see you
it.
soon.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.